And it's an above ground pool. You can rake me over the coals in the comment section. Sapphire, pea flower, they rip like paper. It's a psychedelic and a deck. So I want...
Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Go ahead and follow us along as we continue our path to tranquility. Let's go ahead and get into that.
So I got an idea and I got excited about it for around this pool. Now I know the pool is in the ground and it's an above ground pool. You can rake me over the coals in the comment section on that one. But yesterday I pulled out this big tarp that we had here on the property, and it was just sitting there, and I'm not really sure why I pulled it out. I thought I might have wanted to use a piece of it for something, and then I ended up not doing it, but it was still sitting out. So I'm like, I come out today and I'm sitting on the side of this pool and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this pool? And it just occurred to me what to do between a tree ring and a deck. So I want to see if I could do half of this pool with a deck on this side, and then this portion right here, the tree ring that we have here, I want to go ahead and get that tarp and use it as the weed barrier, get some mulch on top of it, and then see if I can't assort some plants maybe throughout in this area here. So let's go ahead and do that. I think it's going to turn out looking really great, but let's see. Now this tarp is a part of a collection of tarps that we have, that we've, some of them that we've had for many, many, many years, different qualities of tarps. And so we have a pile of tarps that they're deteriorated to where they rip like paper. This is one of those as well, but this one's a little bit thicker, so it doesn't rip so easily. But this is an old tarp, and so this was going to get thrown out, but this is a way to repurpose it, I guess. I don't know. I gotta sit on this one for a little bit because I'm just like throwing this stuff together real quick. I'm gonna have to like do some soul searching with it, because one thing that I'm not liking is that from your angle here, it blocks a lot of the pool, but at the same time, I was thinking that would be something that I wanted for the area, that it would block that area, so that when you're inside of the area, it feels more inclusive inside. But I'm not sure. I gotta do some soul searching and like figure it out and see. I got my mulch though. Ta-da! So yeah, let me think on it and see what I want to do, and then I'll go from there.
Well, this is the little garden area that Casey put together for me until we build a greenhouse and make all of our garden beds and everything. And I can come in here and show you the different kinds of stuff I got growing right now. We got these flowers. We got these at the store because our flowers wasn't going to bloom quick enough for the bees to be able to pollinate. So went ahead and bought some. Got these flowers. Got a little bench right here so I can sit down whenever I want. And on this side, we'll start over here. Here, everything's in the containers because I don't know how well this soil is here. So we're leaving everything in containers for now. But here, I have some parsley growing. And here is some thyme. And then I got 3 tomato plants right here. And I got a couple little tiny tomatoes starting to grow. There's one right there too. If I can get the homemade stuff made for to keep the stink bugs. That's the main thing I've been finding on my plants is the stink bugs, and I think they're like doing stuff to the leaves, like these different things like this, because I very rarely see any other bug. Oh, a couple more tomatoes right there. Got the flowers. We've been having a lot of rain out here lately. Down here, that's a pepper. These back here are, there's 5 blueberry plants, different types of blueberry plants. And then here I have more peppers. This is the bell peppers. There's a couple bell peppers on here. I planted, the seeds that I planted for these was red, orange, and yellow. But apparently, if you want a green one, you can take it off at any point while it's still green. And then this pepper over here is banana pepper, and it's got, I've had a lot of banana peppers on the things. Like here's one that's growing in there. This one here, it's kind of scrunched up. So I got 2 pepper plants, bell pepper plants over here, and 2 banana pepper plants. And this is another pepper, banana pepper. I've taken off at least a total on these 2 plants so far, at least 20 peppers off of them, the banana peppers so far. So they're doing really well. This is actually a weed that we planted. It's supposed to help with the plants. It's I think this is a dandelion. Can't even read the label anymore. But I think it's a dandelion. It hasn't grown any dandelions yet, but I think that's what it is. I'm not positive if that's exactly what that was, because I planted a few different things in there and only this one came up. And we got some more flowers. We also bought these at the store for the bees to pollinate. I got some, a friend of ours gave us this cactus, this one, and then we got another one. But a friend of ours gave us these cactuses. And here I did plant flowers in all of these. This one's just barely got the thing coming up. These ones haven't even started. This here is dill. that I got growing. And this is the other cactus. For some reason it's kind of floppy at the top instead of straight up. Let's move that out the way. Over here, all of these here and here are flowers that are growing that I planted. And all of these, well, these three definitely are coming up better. Oh, this one has one too. It's way back here. So hopefully these ones take off better than the other side. And these are flowers we bought from the store. And I don't see the name tag. But it had a real pretty flower on it. And of course they died off from the heat, I guess. And this one had a pretty flower on it and it also died off. These here is where I got my seeds from. These are the flowers. The bees seem to really like this one. That's why I planted more of them from the seeds from this flower. Then over here, I have cabbages growing. And it seems like the cabbage moth is getting hold of them. I need to get some kind of spray to make sure that these, out here in the country, I guess there's a lot of different types of critters and they're just enjoying the feast. I just got a whole smorgasbord of food out here for them. Here in the buckets, I had to put the plastic in it here because it's the blue buckets and if the food's sitting in it, it could cause, you know, whatever kind of paint or chemicals they had in it could leak into the plant. So I bought bags because we already bought these buckets and we had quite a few of them, so I wanted to go ahead and use them. So I just bought the plastic things so that I could use them to grow stuff in. So those are sweet potatoes that are growing. And then back here I have 3 things of carrots growing. And this is a type of cherry tree. That's another tomato back here. I clipped it off one of the other ones and planted it here. This here is watermelon. It has one baby one right here. And then another baby one, so it has 2 right here. It's connected itself to the cherry tree. And then it has another one over here. So I have a total of 3 watermelons growing on that one. This is cucumbers that is growing. The plant's growing, no cucumbers on this yet. This is where I'm testing the theory of the soil out here. I put it in one of these boxes, but the ground has no tarp or nothing under it so that it can't go actually into the ground. This one here, the roots can actually go into the ground. So I wanted to see the difference between planting them in the soil where the roots can't get into the actual ground here and planting them here through the soil that's I put in here to see how well this stuff grows in this soil out here. This here is another watermelon plant. This is what I was talking about. I come out here all the time and find stink bugs. And you see, every time I find stink bugs, the leaves are looking like this. Well, here's a stink bug right here. So there's a stink bug right there. Every time I come out here, they're everywhere. And I always try to flick them off, but then they go off and land on something else. But the leaves, oh, see, there's another one on this leaf. So I gotta find something so that the stink bugs aren't killing the leaves of my plants, because that neem oil isn't working like I thought it would. But this is the watermelon that's growing on it. It's the biggest one I have. These are the cabbage that I planted in here, and that goes straight, the roots will go straight into the dirt, and well, they don't seem to be growing too well in here. So I'm thinking that maybe the cabbage doesn't do well in the soil out here. So I'm just gonna leave them here and see how they do. I mean, something's having a feast on them. And then I have another, I put this over here because I thought it was, when they were small, when I replanted them, I thought it was watermelon. I thought this was 2 watermelons, but one of them was, of course, a cucumber plant. So there's a cucumber plant and a watermelon plant here together. And this is my other watermelon that's growing. No cucumbers on here. That's my other, that's the cabbage, because I did put lettuce in here, but all the lettuce died. So I know lettuce doesn't do well in the soil out here. So let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is a plant that I bought. It's a jasmine. When I got it, it smelled really pretty, and there was flowers and everything on it. But it's a vine, so it climbs. So it's climbing over top of this thing. And we've been helping the watermelon grow around the vine so it can grow up. And then I have another pepper plant here. It's got a pepper growing on it. This here is an olive tree that we got. No olives have grown on it yet. And then here I planted, this is from a tomato that I took out of the house and put out here. I waited for the eyes to start forming on the potato before I brought it out here and planted it, and that's one growing here. Oh, it's so hot out here, my phone actually shut off because of the temperature. And then this is another tomato plant here. I got a lot of tomato plants. I'm not a big tomato, like raw tomato eater. So the only reason I'm getting these is because I had some tomatoes grow and ripe, and I took them inside and I made spaghetti sauce out of them, and it tasted really good. So I wanted to grow as many tomato plants as I could so I could make some tomato sauce. So that's one less thing I have to buy at the store. I think that's pretty much all. I don't know if I showed you this over here. Sweet tomatoes. And I got them outside right now, trying to harden them off a little bit at a time. I don't think they're quite tall enough to come outside and get replanted, but I'm trying to put them outside for a few hours and take them inside and until they get tall enough.
What do you think? I just went and got an elephant ear that was in this yard behind the tarps. So the tarps that I put up along the fence line over here are as a temporary fence line. These tarps behind them is a piece of the fence that is the property line, but there's an elephant ear in between. So I have this sitting up here. Nothing's planted yet. And it stormed last night and some things fell over. I mean, it really stormed. Last night. But I had a tea this morning, and it was a blue sapphire pea flower, something like that tea. But check out what was on the tea bag. Which is true. So what I want to do is let me take you around here and look at this, because it looks one way from here, and maybe that looks alright, I'm not sure, but it has a different look, I think, from the other side of the pool. And then I'm going to get into burying at least the elephant ear for right now. I needed some time to be able to sit with this, and it took way too long for me to put the plants out, take things out, put things in, take things out, put things in, for it to seem to me like something cohesive. So I know what I got my plan for, but let me take you around here so you can see what this looks like from the other side. If you are by chance wondering what is in that pickle jar that's red over there, it's a psychedelic. No, I'm just kidding. It's a stress relieving tea that they sell in the stores for, I don't know, between like 12 and 15 bags per little box of it. And so I tasted it a few days ago, and it was cooled down. It wasn't hot, and it tasted, well, I've tasted it both ways, like hot and cold, and it tastes, I think, better cold. So I wanted to make a whole gallon of it instead of like a 1 cup. Maybe. Now this is a mixture of soil that my mom put together for, I guess, new plants. Not new plants, but whenever you uproot something, or if you're gonna take something out of a pot and plant it into the ground. Because I think it has this soil probiotics for the roots, maybe. I think that I seen her put that on the roots. I really didn't want this to break, but it snapped at some point, bringing it from that side over here to over here. But then looking at it, I mean, it's kind of chewed up too a little bit, but it still would have been fine. I wish it didn't snap. Now I'm watering this down to make sure that at the root area it gets well saturated with water, because I'm going to be covering it back over with that tarp, which kind of serves as a similar purpose that I see where it came from, because it was very heavily covered with like a mulch and a leaf covering. Although water can trickle down through that area and get down to the roots, I'm going to leave a little bit of a slit there to allow for water to be able to drain into it. think? Now, you've seen I was positioning it, I had it positioned the other way to where it was leaning more toward the pool, and I thought that it would look good that way, but as soon as I turned it around and it was facing like this, I'm like, that's it right there. I think it looks good. Doesn't it kind of add like a layer of like a tropical kind of, even though they're elephant ears, but doesn't it kind of give it that feel? I'll show my mom when she gets back. Now I'm debating now though over here. Now none of these plants have been planted, but they can be planted right where they are, I think. This one here is it's like 4 banana trees all right there together. And so now that I see that there's 4 there, because I hadn't really looked and counted, I knew there was more than 1, but there's 4 there. I probably can just take the plant up out of the pot, break that the root bulb apart, or where the roots are apart, and take each individual banana tree out and replant each one. Hopefully that they're not all like coming from the same root stem or something like that. I've never taken them out to see or had multiple of them growing in one pot. Now see, that was from one banana tree from the store, which they run like, I think something like $15, $16 a store, maybe $17, $16.98, something like that. Just from the one, but then 3 more came up. So if you're going to pay 17, what's it? 17 and 17 is 34, and 34 and 34 is $68 plus tax. But that's only one for the 17 that made the other 3. Now I gotta find a spot for this. Is here still fine? I think over there will be pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can do here. I don't know if you can see me very well down in here exactly what I'm doing. I know I could take the camera and move it over here to this area, but it just, all those movements and moving parts without having someone behind the camera to just move it around, it just takes the creativity away for me anyway. To have to constantly keep coming back to the camera and moving it around, and creativity, that's why I say like I need to be with it, be with my thoughts, kind of like do some soul searching, because that's where the creativity comes up, and I can just like zone in. But zoning in means if I'm recording, wasting a lot of gigabytes. So I'm gonna do that. I'll get back with you when I get back with you. So now the sun's come up here. These leaves on the elephant ear have started to droop a little bit, but that's normal. When I put them, I planted some elephant ears over here along the path, and they did the same thing, but they weren't this big. So I got these stakes here to put in, and then these pieces here that clip together, and I can hold the top of the elephant ear in there. So that's what I'm gonna do. Voila! So it's hopefully we can keep that up. So I changed plans. You can see the gazebo back here. I thought while I was doing some soul searching, there's something I want to do right here in this area. But in thinking about what I want to do here for a pathway in this area, then I'm like, the gazebo needs to be moved over here. There's a palm tree back here. I think it's the biggest palm tree that there is in the back on this property here. And I want to move it to where it's closer to this palm tree. And then this, I want to make a pathway to where it leads over to that palm tree, or to the gazebo by the palm tree. But then curving around the pool right here, what I was thinking back there is a deck, like a platform deck that's back here, elevated off the ground just a little bit, maybe like 1-2 steps up, and then maybe like a roof covering over a portion of it, because there's a grill back over here, and I think that that'd be a good place to have like maybe the grill, maybe a seating area. Even though the gazebo that we have back over here, that is a seating area, and the TV and the entertainment and everything is in there, but it's a seating area for directly right here in front of the pool. I think that would look a lot better than the situation that's here. So for right now, I want to go ahead and start with this pathway. Now I got these, the staples, the yard staples, those came in. So that's good. And I gotta put down the weed barrier now. And hard to leave. Now for right now, I don't know if I want to necessarily get the grass that's here. I'm going to pull just a couple of these plants up that aren't grass, but the grass I'm probably just going to go over top of this grass that's right here in this area. $500 more staples. Woohoo! Remember the scrap from the path before? Use it here. Camera shut off. I got this car in. I got the underlayment for the weed barrier down. I have some stones in here, but I put the pavers. I don't know if I'm going to keep them there, but I put them there, and I got this mulch here to spread out. Let's see what this looks like. If I don't like the pavers there, then I'm just going to take the pavers out and put the mulch there. I'm just not sure if it's the design of it that I'm not really feeling, or if it's the kind of pavers that they are. But I'm not really sure. Ideally, though, those pavers we found on this property that was under dirt, and we were going through the clearing property out, the pavers were there. Ideally, though, I would like to have this small block pavers, make like a block pathway, maybe gray or something through here, but this is more cost efficient right now, so I'm going to put my mulch out and see what that looks like. If you can see, it's stormed. I got soaking wet. I had to change, and yeah, everything's wet. Everything's closed up and everything's wet. sit with it for a minute because when I look at the pathway, it has like a natural flow to it without the pavers in there, but with the pavers in there, it goes in a different flow. So it's almost like two paths at the same time, which might be good. I don't know. I'll see. And check out these, the elephant ears. The other ones that I planted didn't do that, but there is still a new growth coming up on it. So there was 4 elephant ears like on one main root bulb. 4 of them were there with one new one coming up. The one snapped, so I had to cut that one off, and then a second one snapped, and so but I just held it up, and then I held the other 2 up before they snapped. But even with that, one of them at the top still snapped over, so there's only one still that's left with one new growth coming up. And I don't know if the other one, not the new growth, but the other one is gonna make that. I'm wondering about that stuff that I put on it that my mom has for the roots. Maybe not for the roots for that, because I never put it on the other ones. I just put it on this one to see how it would go. And I even put it on another one that I planted over here. It's a small one. You probably can't see it. Here. And that was doing the same thing. So both of those are doing that. I don't know if it's the heat, the transplanting it right now in the heat, or what. I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't know. But what I do know is that those things are very resilient. We've thrown them over to the side before in a pile, and they'll just start growing. Even they're not even planted. You just throw them over to the side and they just start growing. So, what do you think? I think it's beautiful.
Well, that's going to be all for our video today. Go ahead and give us a like, leave a comment down below, and if you like our channel, go ahead and give us a subscribe. It's free to do so. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, Miss Magical, what you up to? Can I have a minute of your time? You want me to turn my heel and forget you?